think we're still good. Man, it's coming in quick. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Copy Corner, our corner of the internet where myself and
Dan Marzullo,
we like to give you guys actionable, practical, amazing copywriting tips, brand messaging tips, some freelance marketing tips to really help you grow your business and communicate your message the right way. Right, Dan? So we have an awesome episode for you guys today. We are going to be talking about a very popular framework that has been taking the marketing world by storm a little bit here, Dan. So tell everybody a little bit what we're going to be talking about today.
Sure thing, Terry. So today we are talking about the StoryBrand framework, as seen in the headline above.
Yeah, that's true. Well, people listen. Yeah, exactly. People listen to this podcast. It's not like you click the episode or if you watch the video, it says our honest thoughts about the StoryBrand framework. So
yeah, I do forget that we, have some listeners that are pure audio, so they probably have no idea. So that's good. Yeah. Good clarification. Terry.
But even like the episode title will say, our thoughts about the StoryBrand framework. So we're not fooling anybody here. So
I get it there. Yeah.
But Donald Miller's framework.
Right. This is Donald Miller's framework. He wrote a book about it. And so this has been pretty popular for marketing agencies use his framework, a lot of copywriters to really kind of dial in their brand messaging. And it's kind of a really interesting kind of way to think about, crafting like a compelling idea and message for your brand.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, Dan. And it's really interesting too, when you think about it, of just when we talk about our honest thoughts, it's just to feel like we're going to rip apart this StoryBrand framework. But honestly, it's really effective because it's really brought this notion to the mainstream that the customer is the one that you should be focusing on, like their desires, their goals. And Donald Miller talks about making them the hero of the story, of your brand story, right? Make them the hero of this journey. And I think that's super important because a lot of brands and organizations, solo business owners can easily, lose track of this.
Yeah, I think it's a good guide because it's so easy, right? When you're building your website or whatever it is, to just talk about yourself and all the cool things you're doing. And it's really easy to lose track of, hey, we're serving a specific customer and our whole goal here is to engage them and, get them to want to work together, right? So this is a great way to kind of, keep that in mind of putting them at the center of the story as he kind of frames it.
Yeah, and he's really just been able to elaborate and expand really this framework to workshops, and obviously he has the book, and some big takeaways from the book, or one of the biggest things that I've taken away from it, Dan, is that, you need to focus on, what the customer wants, really, and focus it down into one desire. Because a lot of times as clients or your organizations, you can think of so many things, of like, we have this, we want them to know this and that, like 5 different things that my product can do for my customer. But you need to focus on what sticks instead of really what you want. So what's going to stick with your customer, and really just, again, break that down into one single idea that you can focus on for the customer's desire. And then the more as you market, you can kind of elaborate and talk about some of the other desires that they'll achieve. But I think that's so important to really focus on like this one big idea, that, this one big desire that the customer can have. And I think a lot of times when we see website copy, we see a lot of marketing, it's just kind of like, it can do this and it can do that. Check this out, right? We see it gets super cluttered.
Exactly. Yeah. So whether or not, you guys follow this StoryBrand framework to a T, I think it's important to just remember that, as a guide in general, your brand messaging should be about the customer, right? They should be the hero, and always keep that in mind when you're writing and trying to make that message as simple and straightforward as possible. So like you said, Terry, if it's their website copy or just some of their other marketing materials, they should know right off the bat, oh, cool. This is, I've glanced at this. I read these few short lines of copy or whatever it is. I know, what they do and how they're going to solve my problem.
Yeah, absolutely, Dan. You really just nailed it. And it's, a lot of times, again, we lose sight of it because we want to talk about ourselves so much, right? And if you ever look at this StoryBrand framework of how you can apply it to really your website and your marketing, it's really like choosing your customer avatar as a character and think about what do they really want. Right? What's this desire? Again, we talked about that one big idea, but then they have a problem. So So what's this big problem and pain point that they're trying to achieve that's really, making this desire almost impossible to reach, right? And then you have empathy for them, and then you start giving them a plan of what they can do, offer them your solution. But really, Donald Miller does a good job of talking about it's not really a solution, it's a transformation, which I love that aspect of it, of having this character transform, of like you go from being this type of miserable to like achieving this type of best self. Right? Like, how does their life transform? And that's even kind of brought me to like ask my clients this question when I'm on like a discovery call, is like, how does your ideal customer's life, improve and transform, after they, use your product or come in touch with your brand? And it really opens up a lot of good answers too that way.
Right. Yeah, Terry, I think you guys, you do a lot more website copy than we do. So I think you've got a lot more, firsthand experience diving into this stuff with your clients. So it's definitely an effective approach. Yeah,
absolutely. I've had a lot of clients reach out to me because like I kind of market myself as like a brand story specialist, a lot of dealing with these brand messaging guidelines for different clients. And, people are like, oh, I came across you because I did this brand story workshop and I love this idea and this is what I want. It's like they come to me like, I want this brand story, or have you heard of Donald Miller's, brand story? Sorry, I keep saying brand story, StoryBrand framework.
StoryBrand, brand story.
And I'm just like, yeah, absolutely. It's like, I know it very well. Part of me is just like, man, why can't I just come up with this?
Right.
No. But like our honest thoughts at the end of the day, I think it's really effective. And how to know if it's right for you, really, maybe you don't have to necessarily go through all of, what Donald Miller talks about, but I think that key foundation of focusing on the customer is really what you want. So
it's kind of the core message there. And I think too, Terry, right, if you're a brand and you're not going to work with like an outside copywriter or agency who might have their own process, if this is something you're doing in-house, this is a great way to approach it, because it's super hard to get, out of the weeds in your own head of what you think the product is. So this kind of gives you that guideline, that roadmap to help you kind of pull that out, that brand message out yourself, if you're not going to work with somebody outside your organization, right?
Yes, absolutely, totally. If you don't really have the means or like to reach out and get somebody to help you, this is a great foundation and framework that you guys can use to really improve and come up with some great messaging from scratch. Especially if you're feeling stuck. So really well said there, Dan. Yeah. So honest thoughts, I say 2 thumbs up from the Copy Corner for the StoryBrand framework. What do you think?
Right. Yeah, I think we're fans of it. So if you guys haven't read the book or at least like looked at his philosophy, go check it out for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And he even has a podcast too that I've listened to a couple of times. Different marketing, like different marketers and entrepreneurs he has. That's been super interesting as well. So look up Donald Miller's podcast and check that out. But of course, do it after you listen to the Copy Corner podcast and leave us a great review and 5-star rating, because we want to boost the ranks in the marketing world for the Copy Corner podcast. Actionable copy tips in less than 10 minutes. That's really like the elevator pitch of this.
Right. Good.
And speaking of, we're approaching the 10-minute mark, Dan. So any last words?
No, that's it, man. That's all for me this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Copy Corner. Hope that you guys find it helpful. And again, check out the StoryBrand framework, see if it's a good fit for you. But as always, love what you do, proceed with passion, and we will see you on the next episode of the Copy Corner. Take care.